Here we go. And I'm going to start record too. All right, Tony, welcome. And hopefully
Hello,
we're
Alan.
doing all this right. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm Alan Thomas with Rethink Dieting, and I've got with me today Tony Shive. And Tony hails, he's another North Carolina boy. So when he and I met, we spoke North Carolinian, which is pretty rare dialect. But Tony, welcome. So tell everybody who you are and where you're from.
Thanks for having me, Alan. I was wondering if there was a translator on here for anybody that doesn't speak Southern, but we'll worry about that later. Like Alan said, I'm Tony Shive. I'm from just outside of Salisbury, North Carolina. A lot of people may know that as the home of the Food Line grocery store chain and Cheerwine. So, but yeah, I've been with Alan for a little over 9 months now, and have just had a great deal of success. So when he asked me to do a little live interview, I was more than willing to do that, because it's really changed my life. And I'm sometimes I'm the guy who's happy sitting in the corner not saying anything, but if you get me talking about something I'm passionate about, I can take a deep breath and suck all the air out of the room. And I take every opportunity I can to tell people what I've been doing and how much it's changed my life.
Well, it's awesome. And a lot of you guys don't know, who are watching this for the first time, you don't know much about what Rethink Dieting is, but Rethink Dieting is a program that we have that really helps men and women lose weight, and that's holding them back. And it's we never tell anybody what to eat or what exercises to do, but Tony Shive just crossed the 100-pound mark, 299 days in. Wow. 299 days, and you're in what I call rare air. So walk everybody through, because I think it's really important that people get an idea. They look at you now and they say, oh man, it's easy for you. You're down 100 pounds. You're losing weight like crazy. But walk everybody where you were in August. And I'm going to share, I hadn't really thought about doing this, but I'm going to do it to you. So I apologize as a manager. This guy on the left of this picture here was what date was that? What was that?
August the 8th of last year.
The 8th of August. So that was about a week before you started in the Rethink Dieting program, right?
Just 6 days.
Doesn't even look like the same person.
He's not the same person. That I think I told that when I posted it on a private group I created, that if you're looking for that guy on the left, he doesn't exist anymore.
That's pretty wild. So it's like somebody said to me, it said, Tony, you look like you've lost a Backstreet Boy. So, so walk everybody through where you were. I mean, what it was like, what the guy on the left was like, what it was like day in and day out. I mean, the type of work you're doing. What was the reason you even wanted to lose the weight?
Hey, Alan, I wish I could say that I remember what flipped the switch for me to give you a call on the 13th, but I can't say exactly. But I do know that in the couple years previous to that, I'd actually, about 2 years before that, I'd lost about 60 pounds doing a version of the eating plan I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
But over the next couple of years, I tell people a lot of life happened. Had a pretty unpleasant change at work. My dad had been diagnosed with colon cancer, and his health started to get worse. So a lot of life happened in a short period of time, and as a result, over the next couple of years, leading up to you and I coming together, I gained back 43 of those 62 pounds I lost. And looking back now, probably got into a whole lot darker place than I realized, again, for several different reasons. Just got to the place where I really didn't feel like going out, doing anything with any of my friends. Not always, but regularly found an excuse not to go out and do things. But most of that was around my weight. And I told people, I know I've told people multiple times that for the last 15 years, I've struggled with my weight. And I realize now that was just a lie. I didn't struggle with it. I just ignored it. I thought if I bought bigger, looser clothes in dark colors, that nobody recognized it. And again, looking back at that picture on the left, you had up, that was one of the times during that time that I got out. But I thought, man, I got on my Navy golf shirt and my big boy pants, and nobody knows how much I weigh. Little did I realize, probably everybody could have guessed within about 10 pounds of what I weighed while I was trying to ignore it. And again, I don't remember exactly, if it was one thing that flipped the switch that said I got to do something different. It probably wasn't an overnight thing, but over time, I realized I needed to do something because I couldn't be happy living that way much longer. So talked to Alan, and he got me started on the right path. So as a result, like he said, I've lost 101 pounds in 299 days. And so I'll just talk a little bit about the journey, and I'll let Alan steer me after that. But I tell people now that, if you think it's easy just because I've lost 100 pounds and I got the world by the short hairs now, it's not true. It's like having another job, and you've got to work at it just like you do your job. You don't always get paid off because you do something good for 1 or 2 days in a row. Like when you go to work, you don't work 8 or 10 or 12 hours during the day, and they hand you money when you go out the door. Sometimes it takes 2 to 3 weeks for your paycheck to show up. And it's the same way with losing weight. You have to put in the work and do it just like you do the job that you get a monetary paycheck for every single day. And like with your job that pays you in money, you don't get to do it 1 week and say, man, that was good. I can just keep rolling in paychecks now. It's the same with weight loss. You got to keep doing it day after day after day. And it's not easy. Some days the weight just keeps going down and all is good and I'm whistling a happy tune. But then there are some days where you do all the right things that you did while your weight was going down, and it either plateaus or it goes up again. But I have the firm belief now that I've been doing it for tomorrow will be 300 days. And I know that if I keep doing those same things, eventually the weight is going to keep coming off, whether it comes off today or not. I keep working, and eventually that paycheck will show up in my bank account.
That's awesome. And for those of you guys listening, I mean, Tony and I talked about what we're going to say for maybe 30 seconds. So this isn't scripted. This is just, because I want you to hear the real story, because, so many people, and what you just got through saying, I'm thinking, I'm not hearing a special diet. I'm not hearing a magic pill that you swallowed that made it all go away and made it be easy. I'm hearing some reality in there. And, you said you lost, was it 40 or 60 pounds a few years before? And when was the last time you weighed what you weigh now at this level? How long ago? How long has it been?
Oh man, that's a good question. I actually got a question from a friend who's recently joined my private group on Facebook that I worked with back in 2008 and 2009. Her question was, well, how much did you weigh when I knew you then? Mm-hmm. And I'm still trying to piece back through that, but I would be willing to bet that it was probably in my real early 30s. So probably, I hate to admit it, getting close to 30 years ago.
More than 5 years ago. We won't go age.
Way more.
So it's interesting. I mean, so you've done this, and you brought up age. I wasn't even thinking about age, but has it been any more difficult for you at your age now? I mean, you're over 50. And right, and you're over 50, and
just barely over 59, about 2 weeks.
That's right, I know it. So you're over 50. A lot of people say to me, Alan, well, it's so much harder to lose weight when you're older. I mean, what would you say to that?
And I probably thought that same thing at one point. I really don't now. I think I told you in the past about a young man I had who's a friend of my best friend's daughter, and he's well over 400 pounds. But we talked on Cinco de Mayo that he had started seeing a doctor, and he was taking some medication that was helping him lose weight. And I just saw him again, and a good month after that, he told me he was still down the same 40 pounds. And while I was sitting at the bar drinking water, and again, not affecting my good time, he was sitting there drinking beer and eating fried food. So, but I did talk to him a long time about what I'd been doing, and the fact that I knew it was a challenge. So I don't think it's any more difficult at any age, because I'm not, I'm not thumping my chest telling you I'm better than a 25-year-old is, but I'm losing weight at a whole lot faster rate than he is. So it's I really think for anybody of any age, it's all about your mindset. I think there are tons of different diet programs that work. There are tons of different exercise programs that help, but none of those by themselves are going to do you any good. You have to pick something, and you have to have a finite goal with a time date on it. And you really do. You have to have a plan, and you have to work that plan like you work your job. And again, it's not 7 days and take the weekend off and start back again. I literally don't take any days off. That's not saying that I'm in the gym 7 days a week. I listen to my body, and I've learned, I'm to use your phrase, I've become an expert in me. And I found out in the last 2 weeks that I don't have to spend 2 hours in the gym anymore. I've actually, over the past 2 weeks, I've scaled back my workout by a lot, and my results haven't changed. But I've been listening to my body, because it's been telling me, you're having some physical pain, and maybe you're pushing it too hard. So no, to the short answer to your question is no. I don't think it's harder because I'm older. I just think it's hard to get in the right mindset, because I've lost weight and gained it back, but I think I've got a good handle on it now. And I'm not going to tell you when I get to my goal weight that I'll be under that for the rest of my life, because that's just silly. I'll probably have to pay attention to my weight for the rest of my life. But I know if I go up 5 or 10 or 15 pounds and decide I'm not feeling good, man, I have the tools, and one of them is between my ears, that I can grab it by the reins again and steer it back in the right direction. And Al, I'm telling you, it's a powerful feeling, probably unlike any I've ever known in my life.
Yeah, and you had some huge things that you said there. I mean, the fact that that you listen to your body. So you're not, I think there's, when I was over 300 pounds, because you and I were similar sizes when we, at our peak. And, when I was over 304 pounds, I always felt like there was just got to be an easy way. There's just got to be an easy way. And there's just some, and if I do that easy way, it's probably going to be unhealthy, and a doctor would probably turn his nose up at it. And so, and I'm probably going to have to do exercise that that was way beyond me, but I'm not hearing any of that in what you're saying. Am I hearing something wrong?
None at all. And I will tell you that I'm one of those people that it's real hard for me to take compliments. And I've always, not trying to pat myself on the back, but I've always tried to give credit to others. And again, kind of stay out of the limelight if I can. But I know I was in the gym the other day and doing leg presses, and all the shorts now are down about your knees. But I noticed when I was doing leg presses, I thought, even at my best shape, my legs are different now than they used to be. I've always been a pretty stocky guy, and was probably at my best shape in my life at about 33 or 34 years old, which a lot of people can't say. But at that time, I know I was doing more lifting than I was cardio. So my legs were muscular, but now they're defined in a different way. And I've thought back, I know Lance Armstrong isn't a real good example in a lot of ways, but I know after he survived cancer, they said that that was one of the reasons that helped him win 7 Tour de France's, because before he was a little bit more stocky, and when he got his health back, he really reshaped his body. And so my body's going to end up being different than it was, but there's no magic pill. If there was a magic pill, I would have paid all the money in the world for it. But it's nothing exciting to it. It's just hard work every day and just sticking to the plan.
And what's interesting too that you said, you talked about when you reach your goal weight, and I remember a different Tony. I remember that Tony that we met in August of last year, and the guy that was in the picture on the left. And if I were to ask you now, I mean, and I won't divulge what you said to me then, but if I were to ask you now, you're still going down in weight. You've got about another, 30 pounds to go, I believe. Don't hold me to that of what you said is your goal weight.
Let's see, 26 actually.
26. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you had to say today, on a scale, and I ask this a lot, but if you, on a scale of 1 to 100, what do you think the odds of you making it? Is 1 being low, 100 being absolutely confident? What's your answer? And I don't know what your answer is going to be.
There is not a shadow of a doubt that there is no chance in this world or any other that I will not reach my goal weight. And listen, you're exactly right. I was thinking about this today after we scheduled this call. I really wish I would have gone. During the hard times early on, I would have kept a journal of what I was thinking, because I can't really reproduce what I was thinking then. But I promise you, it was, man, I don't know. I've been here, and I'll tell a little bit of the story that I shared with you. I got on the scales the first day on August the 14th, and man, I started off like a ball of fire. In the first 20 days, I think I dropped 17 pounds, and that guy thought he had it figured out. And so I went to the beach with some friends and thought I had a scaled back version of my plan that I could stick to. And pretty quickly, I got off track, and over 3 days, I gained back almost 7 pounds. And I looked at the numbers again, and it took me exactly 30 days after I got back from the beach to get below the weight I went to the beach at and stay there. Now, I went below it a couple times, but basically, not only did I throw away a month, but I also threw away a month of, if I would have stayed on track, I would have been losing weight. But again, that's not important. That really taught me that to use a friend of ours saying, that really developed my won't quit muscle.
Yeah.
And so that, going through that struggle, and again, I wish I knew what I was thinking every day, but going through that struggle helped me get where I am today, because I was probably real close to quitting a couple times, but because I didn't, now I can say I survived that little breakdown in my plan that cost me a month. And now I'm down 100 pounds with absolutely no doubt that I'm going to get to my goal weight, and probably go beyond that. I set that goal weight, and I'm pretty sure I'll be comfortable at that weight, but I think I might have some more gas left in the tank. So I'm going to go beyond that. So it is not easy, but I've told this to you and to a lot of people. I promise you that if I can do it, there is not another person on the planet that can't do it, because I'm the guy that had, before this, had never found a bag of chips that had more than one serving in it. And if I can stay away from those completely and learn to manage serving sizes and do all the other things that I have for 299 straight days, then there is no reason in the world that anybody that wants to try your program can't be as successful or more than I have.
No, and I mean, it's what's really what people need to hear too. And I think, what you're telling is the truth. I mean, you hit obstacles. We're going to have obstacles. Well, guess what? When and this is the other question I asked. I mean, why do you believe this time, that when you hit an obstacle down the road that you won't gain the weight back? What makes you believe that now?
Well, I'm going to give you credit for part of it. You gave me the tools to get started doing this, and you've been an excellent coach along the way. So I don't have the vocabulary to thank you enough, but it's just that I've become an expert in me, and I know what works for my body, and I know that, like I say, if I can fight through a month early on in this journey, and get back to losing weight again, if I can fight through that, that's not saying that I'll never hit another roadblock like that. But I know that if I do, that I've got the tools. And again, one of the most important ones is between my ears, but I've got the tools to work hard at it and get control of it again.
And that's good. No, that's awesome, because that is where it is, because, you've really become, a different guy. I mean, you're not the 313 pound Tony that lost weight. you become the guy that's at your ideal weight, even 26 pounds away. And so it's fun to see it. So tell me, I mean, what's different now? I mean, what's different, when you go in those moments where, you were hesitating to go out, or you were doing stuff and you were self-conscious about the weight. What's it like now? I mean, granted, you've got another 26 pounds to go, but as we say, that's like the deck chair off the Titanic. That's not much to go. You're positive you're going to make it. So what is it like now for you, showing up at the beach? Because I think you said you had the same trip, 9 months later, basically. I mean, what was that like? Because that's got to, we're the same picture literally taken, with, I've got you just focused in. You had it with the same other two people, but I didn't have permission to put their picture up, so I didn't want to be,
Right.
get in trouble with anybody. But what's that like to show up there, literally 100 pounds lighter?
Man, it was really like being two different people. And but because again, since I've gotten heavy in the last 15 years, man, I hadn't even thought about having my shirt off on the beach, and I didn't do that over Memorial Day, but I can tell you, I was wearing a whole lot smaller shirt, and I wore a bathing suit that I found from years ago that still had a tag on it that I never was able to fit into. So wearing new clothes, again, not feeling like I had to, hide. If somebody wanted to take a picture, I didn't feel like I had to hide behind somebody else to not show as much of my big old gut as I did. And just I've got a whole lot more energy, not only on the beach trip, but, my social life has expanded now. I very seldom pass up an opportunity to go out and do things. I'm a big fan of live music and didn't realize how much I'd missed that during the lockdown. But I've probably seen more live music in this year than I have in any other. In fact, discovered a new band out of Raleigh that has come to Salisbury, my hometown, a couple different times. And it just so happened that while we were at the beach, they were about 30 minutes south at Merle's Inlet. So we drove down there and saw the same band down there. But yeah, it's just, I feel like a completely different person. I've told people that, man, I know how good I feel physically and how much better I feel about myself. And I've made a lot of new friends, but as good as I feel now, I know I'm going to feel even better 26 pounds from now. And I just don't have the brain power to imagine what that's going to feel like, but I can tell you, I'm really looking forward to it.
That's awesome. So, and you've been, one of the things that I think is, I mean, you can speak to this, but the Rethink dieting community that they're in for those that are in the program like you, I mean, what's that been like for you? Because people are seeing you as a leader. I mean, they're seeing you as somebody who's really getting the job done, and with that, I mean, what's that part of the process been like for you?
It is, Alan. It's been a godsend to me. I have made some real good friends, even though I haven't met a single one of them in person. I feel like they're going to be lifelong friends. And I try and post as regularly as in the group about as regularly as I do in my own personal private group on Facebook. But I really get a lot of encouragement from them. Some of my closest friends in that group, it never seems like our weight is going in the same direction. It seems like if I'm seeing good numbers on the scale every day, that a couple of them are, kind of hovering around or going up a little bit. But, just to not only to hear about their successes, but their struggles, man, that helps me in my journey, because when it turns around and I'm struggling a little bit and they're doing well, the old saying, a rising tide lifts all boats. It really is true. And I think probably the first time I heard that, I thought, man, that's just so much crap right there. But it really is true. And I've seen in those groups, a lot of those old sayings that I didn't put a whole lot of stock in, I've seen them play out in my life. And, you said that, I'm being looked at now as a leader, but I can promise you that I really feel like that I get more than I give in that group, because anytime I hear stories from somebody else, I just feel like that each one of those in a different way helps me along this road that I'm on. And so I feel like anything I can give to anybody else, I'm just not doing enough. I'm just not doing enough. But it is that's probably one of the most important parts about this for me. And I would just about bet that everybody in that group says the same kind of thing.
Well, it's awesome, and it's fun to watch you soar, man. You have, the Tony, that I met in October of last year he's in there. I knew he was in there, but I can't wait to see what what all this is going to mean for you. And I mean, it's been so much fun to watch you win, and to hear the level of certainty change in your voice week after week, and then to watch your post. And the scale is just a thing. I mean, it's just a thing. But when you get the level of certainty, and then you become that expert on you, like we talk about all the time, and that, then it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And it never feels fast enough at the time. But tell me, 299 days have gone pretty fast, really, when you look backwards at them, haven't they? And
man, when I look at that number, when I see I'm a day away from 300, I know that I'm not really good doing math without that computer that's sitting right here next to me. But it's getting close to a year of doing this, and man, it just. I can still remember the call that you and I had before I got on the scale the first day. So yeah, it seems like no time at all. So it's it's not about how long. I can tell you how long it's going to take me to get my goal weight, however long it takes.
That's it. But it's going it's way faster than you ever would have believed it, which is so much fun. Well, yeah. Tony, I can't thank you enough for being on here, and for anybody that's seeing this that wants the exact video, the class that Tony saw, you can go to rethinkdieting.com, rethinkdieting.com. You watch the same masterclass, and if you want to have an honest conversation, book a breakthrough session at transformmyfuture.com/apply. And we'll be hearing more out of Tony, because we'll be doing this again when he reaches his home weight and the place he's going to live. So
go ahead and put it on the schedule for before Labor Day, because I hadn't really chiseled that in stone yet, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be the target date. And listen, Alan, I do appreciate this opportunity, and I'll say for anybody watching this, if you want to take control of your weight, Alan Thomas is a great place to start. He's helped me change my life. And so if you've got any doubts at all, I can tell you that it's one of the best decisions I've ever made, and you will not regret it.
Well, God bless you, my friend. It's like I said, it's amazing to watch you soar through this thing, step into the superhero that you already were. So, all right, guys. Well, you guys have a great night, and we will see you on the next time. Take care.